People say I failed, but they don't understand. I've given everything, and still they call me the villain. Yes, there's a bad side of me, but
For years, I was invisible in my own marriage, and maybe that was Kody's bad side all along. He didn't have to yell at me. Kody talks about his bad side like it's news, but I've lived with it for years. My kids have lived with it. At some point...
There's a bad side of me. When Kody Brown said those words, Sister Wives fans froze. For years, we've watched him demand loyalty, rage against betrayal, and insist on respect. But rarely, if ever, has he admitted to having a dark side. And now that he's finally confessed it, the question everyone is asking is simple. What does Kody mean by the bad side of himself? This admission wasn't casual. It wasn't a slip of the tongue. It was a moment of truth that cut deeper than any fight, deeper than any argument, and deeper than any breakdown we've seen on camera. Because for Kody Brown to look at the cameras, to look at the world and say those words, "There's a bad side of me," is more than shocking. It's terrifying. Fans immediately began to speculate. Was Kody admitting to the rage we've seen boiling beneath the surface? Was he acknowledging the favoritism that ripped his family apart? Or was he at last prepared to own up to what Christine, Janelle, and even his own kids have been alluding to for years? That the man beneath the patriarch persona isn't the caring father he'd have everyone believe, but a man riddled with control, jealousy, and pride? For more than a decade, Sister Wives has been sold as the tale of a large, loving, unorthodox family. But the truth has always been darker. And Kody's words may be the final proof. Because when a man admits there's a bad side to himself, fans have to ask, what does that bad side look like? And more importantly, what has that bad side already done to his wives and his children? Tonight, we're going to dive deeper than ever before. We're going to connect the dots between Kody's shocking admission and the moments where his darker side has slipped through on camera. The yelling, the accusations, the cold silences, and the explosive favoritism that split his family in half. We'll break down how Christine and Janelle exposed that bad side, how Meri silently endured it, and how Robyn became both shield and enabler. We'll revisit the heartbreaking words of his children, who openly admitted to feeling abandoned, ignored, and unloved. And we'll ask the questions Kody himself refuses to answer. Is this bad side the reason Christine left? Is this bad side why Janelle's loyalty finally broke? Is this bad side the force that pushed Meri out for good? And is this bad side the reason Kody is now left clinging only to Robyn, while the rest of his family drifts away? Because here's the chilling truth. When a man admits he has a dark side, he's telling us that what we've seen so far may only be the beginning. Beat hush. Ominous music builds. Images flash on screen of Kody screaming at Gabriel, Christine storming away, Janelle throwing up her hands in exasperation, Robyn sobbing. Stick with me. Because by the end of this, you won't only know what Kody meant by the bad side of me, you'll see how that dark side has already irreversibly altered the Brown family. And you'll realize why fans believe Kody's confession isn't just a moment of honesty. It's the beginning of the end. The bad side confession. What Kody said and why it matters. There's a bad side of me. When Kody Brown let those words slip, it wasn't just another heated remark during a Sister Wives argument. It was a confession, one that pulled back the curtain on years of tension, favoritism, and emotional warfare inside the Brown household. For once, Kody didn't deflect, didn't blame his wives, didn't accuse his kids of betrayal. He turned the spotlight inward. And that is why this moment hit harder than anything we've seen in 18 seasons. Kody's admission didn't come out of nowhere. It is at a moment when the walls are closing in on him. Christine has already departed and remarried. Janelle has walked away, drained from the constant power struggles. Meri has checked out emotionally after years of neglect and silence. And his kids, particularly Gabriel, have talked about the pain of abandonment. So when Kody confessed to having a bad side, fans instantly linked it to these cracks. Was this his attempt to at last admit that he pushed his wives away? Was it guilt over losing his son's respect? Or was it merely an occasional glimpse of candor, a moment too unguarded for even Kody to spin? What does bad side mean for Kody? Fans have debated endlessly about what Kody meant. Some believe it was an admission of his temper, the side we've seen when he screams about loyalty, respect, and betrayal. Others think it's about his favoritism, the way he pours everything into Robyn's household while neglecting the others. And others say it's something more sinister, his refusal to accept fault, his need for control, and his willingness to cut out those who don't meet his expectations. Christine once spoke of feeling invisible, Janelle said she felt that she was unable to have a healthy marriage with Kody anymore. Gabriel cried as he informed the world that his dad overlooked his birthday amid COVID. Each of these incidents, supporters think, is proof of Kody's bad side. A side that values power and pride over love and compassion. Why fans took it seriously. Usually, Kody presents himself as the victim, the misunderstood patriarch. He accuses his wives of betraying him, his children of disrespecting him, Christine of poisoning others against him. So for him to confess that the issue might well be inside him, that's seismic. It's not a throwaway line. It's an admission, if only a brief one, that the complaints Christine and Janelle have made for years weren't hyperbole. That perhaps, quite possibly, the viewers who perceived arrogance, manipulation, and anger weren't delusional. They were witnessing his actual self. And that's why this admission is significant. Because it confirms all the tears Christine cried, all the times Janelle pushed back, all the frustration glances Meri shared, and all the hurtful words the children have uttered. The subtext fans heard. But this is where things get uglier, how he spoke. Fans picked up on his tone, defensive, bitter, as if cautioning others against his very nature. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't regret. It was near justification, a form of saying, yes, there is a dark side to me, and you'll get to see it if you mess with me. That attitude is what sent shivers down fans' spines. Because it did not sound remorseful. It sounded threatening. And that's why social media went crazy. Twitter threads, Reddit comments, and YouTube commentaries filled with queries. Was Kody indeed acknowledging what Christine had been claiming all along? Or was he merely attempting to redefine his rage as something unavoidable, something others forced him into? Is this bad side simply who he is and has always been? Why this moment will haunt sister wives. For a show that's all about family togetherness, love, and spirituality, Kody's admission was a fault line too large to overlook. Because after the patriarch reveals that he has a dark side, every episode fan viewings will have added meaning. Every fight with Christine, every dismissive coldness towards Meri, every fight with his sons, every second of Robyn's tears. They're no longer merely reality TV drama. They're glimpses of the bad side that Kody himself confessed to exist. And that's why this moment is so important. Because it doesn't merely establish Kody's current, it reestablishes the entire history of sister wives. Kody Brown has admitted it. The man who battled to keep his reputation intact, who blamed everybody else for his family's breakdown, has admitted there's a darker side to who he truly is. And the question isn't anymore if that bad side exists. The question is, how much harm has it already caused? The Patterns fans observed Kody Brown's surprise confession, "There's a bad side of me," didn't drop into a void. For devoted Sister Wives viewers, it landed like validation. Because throughout the past 18 seasons, fans have witnessed Kody's darker facet seep through the cracks, scene by scene, fight by fight. And now, his confession doesn't seem quite so out of character and sudden, but rather more like an acknowledgement of a pattern that's been sitting in plain sight all along. The temper. We can't forget, from the very beginning seasons, Kody's temper has been out there for everyone to see. He may grin, chuckle, and play the good old dad on the couch role in one breath. But when confronted, by wife or by child, his ire turns. The audience recalls the epic COVID fights in which Kody's voice boomed to a bellow. His edicts were absolute. His desire for dominance of the household dynamic came out in full. Gabriel's crying out in which Kody shouted rather than heard. Janelle holding firm, only to have Kody accuse her of being disloyal. Christine having the temerity to push back on his control, and Kody's reaction a whirlwind of defensiveness. Fans recognized it as more than passion. They saw fury. And Christine's insider confession about his bad side now colors those scenes in a new, eerie light. The obsession with control. One of Kody's key characteristics has been his fixation on control. Again and again, he's defined disagreements not as different opinions, but as betrayals. When a wife disagreed with his decisions, she wasn't just disagreeing. In his mind, she was discrediting him. When a child pushed against his rules, they weren't being individualistic. They were disrespecting him. This continued to transform run-of-the-mill family arguments into loyalty battles, battles that continued to leave scars open today. Christine outlined how wearying it was always to have to bow to Kody's dictates. Janelle confessed that she felt trapped in a relationship where she was expected to be loyal, but offered minimum emotional support in return. And Meri, she ended up as the complete casualty of his domination, silenced, alone, and ultimately discarded. Kody's bad side has always been rooted in this desperate desire to control, even if it meant losing the very relationships he professed to be battling for. The favoritism fans can't ignore. Arguably, the most notorious trend fans refer to is Kody's favoritism of Robyn and her children. When Robyn joined the family, the dynamic changed. Kody's time, attention, and energy were drawn to her home. He stood up for her more aggressively. He broke rules for her children. And he made choices that benefited her over the rest. Fans saw Kody slept more nights at Robyn's house than any other. He legally divorced Meri so that he could marry Robyn and adopt her children. He kept Robyn's comfort a priority during COVID, while Christine and Janelle's homes felt forgotten. This favoritism wasn't just causing resentment between the wives, it filtered down to the children. Christine's children felt invisible. Janelle's children, such as Gabriel, felt abandoned. And all of it played into the emerging mythology of Kody's darker persona, a man whose love was conditional, lopsided, and divisive. The gaslighting and deflections. Another trend viewers have analyzed is Kody's tendency to spin stories. When Meri felt lonely, Kody accused her of betrayal rather than hearing her hurt. When Christine complained that she felt unloved, he told her it was because she was being ungrateful. When Janelle stood up for her children, Kody portrayed her as being disloyal. This behavior of gaslighting, blame shifting, rewriting history, and positioning himself as the victim has been the source of years of anger. Audiences react. Wives questioned themselves, kids second-guessed themselves, and fans yelled at their televisions, "Why can't he just be wrong?" Now, with his bad side admission, fans are wondering, was this the initial fracture of the mask? Did Kody finally confess that all of those gaslit moments weren't miscommunications, but indications of a darker reality? The kid's breaking point, maybe the best evidence of Kody's bad side, is in his broken relationship with his children. Gabriel crying on camera, claiming his dad forgot about his birthday. The unspoken absence of most older children, who no longer even take part in filming. These are not minor disputes. They are indicators of deep wounds. Wounds that Christine, in her insider disclosures, has confirmed might never heal. And now the fans are connecting those moments directly to Kody's admission. When he said he had a bad side, was he finally admitting to what his children already knew? That the father they grew up trusting had become someone who was cold, resentful, and unapproachable? Why patterns matter. The importance of Kody's bad side admission is in the context leading up to it. Fans aren't responding to one phrase. They're linking it back to more than 10 years of video, a record of favoritism, temper, gaslighting, and shattered relationships. When Kody told them, "There's a bad side of me," it wasn't surprising because it was something new. It was surprising because it was finally what everyone had witnessed over the years. It was the very first time that Kody himself acknowledged what Christine, Janelle, Meri, and the children had endured the entire time. So when Kody Brown confesses to having a bad side, know this. He's not merely referring to the current moment. He's confessing to a past riddled with habits we can no longer deny. The rage, the playing favorites, the domination, the betrayals. This is the shadowy past of sister wives. And it could be the real cause that the Brown clan has been broken. The wives' accounts, Christine, Janelle, Meri, and Robyn. When Kody confessed, "There's a bad side of me," fans could not help but think of the 4 women who were living with that aspect of him all these years. Because every wife has her own tale, her own wounds, her own struggles, her own shattering points. Their collective experiences draw the worst picture of Kody's dark side. The truth teller who walked away. Christine was the first to walk away as the first wife, and her motivations got straight to the point of Kody's confession. For years, she said she felt unloved and unseen. She pleaded for validation, but was met with criticism, neglect, and favoritism towards Robyn. Viewers remember Christine pleading for Kody to admit he didn't love her anymore, and his response was cold, dismissive, and brutally honest. "I'm not in love with you." Christine endured years of that bad side. The gaslighting, the favoritism, the lack of affection, and eventually she decided enough was enough. When she left, she didn't just escape a marriage, she exposed the truth. Her subsequent interviews only served to confirm what the fans had long suspected. Kody's darker side wasn't intermittent. It was persistent. It was a storm she and her children had been enduring for years. Christine's decision to leave was a rejection of that bad side, a statement that love without respect, loyalty without love, and marriage without sweetness wasn't worth fighting for. The faithful partner who eventually had enough of Janelle was once Kody's most practical, reliable partner. She wasn't Christine or Meri, so emotional. She was the fixer, the voice of reason, the logistics and finances person. Years went by and people believed she'd be the last one to leave. But even Janelle had enough. Her kids, particularly Gabriel, suffered from Kody's favoritism and neglect. Janelle observed her sons suffering as their father accorded Robyn's home priority. She noticed their anguish and understood that she couldn't keep defending Kody anymore. During the well-known COVID fights, Janelle's allegiance broke. She informed Kody bluntly that she wouldn't set her children aside to accommodate his strict rules. And when Kody blew his top, cursing her for treachery, Janelle drew her line in the sand. From Janelle's point of view, the bad side of Kody was that he couldn't keep fatherhood in balance with control. He demanded obedience for the sake of love, and when his children pushed back, he exploded rather than hearing them out. For Janelle, the clincher wasn't her own hurt. It was seeing her kids endure under a father who appeared to care more about loyalty than love. The forgotten wife Meri's story is perhaps the most tragic of all. As Kody's first wife, she started with the strongest position. But slowly, painfully, she became the most discarded. Their relationship began unraveling years ago, long before Christine left. The infamous catfishing scandal only worsened the cracks, but the truth is the foundation had already eroded. Kody went on tape admitting that he no longer felt he was married to Meri. He told the romantic relationship was over. And yet, Meri remained, existing in the background of a husband who barely spoke to her. For Meri, Kody's bad side wasn't explosive rage. It was silence, coldness, neglect, the ache of being erased when still technically included in the family. Fans watched Meri sit through family gatherings with a hollow smile, hoping for scraps of attention, only to be left out of decisions and ignored in conversations. Her tragedy is not fiery arguments, but decades of loneliness. Kody's bad side in Meri's story is indifference. And in many ways, that's worse than rage. Because rage at least means passion. Indifference means abandonment. The lightning rod and the loyalist. And then there is Robyn. Robyn has been both the loyalist and the lightning rod for fan disdain. Since the day she joined the family, it was apparent. Kody's heart was with her in a major way. He hung out with her more. He ceremonially married her. He adopted her children. To Robyn, Kody's bad side is one that the other wives dramatize. She positions herself as the loyal one, the one who stood by him in times of turbulence. She tells us he's a good father, a good husband, misjudged by those who did not accord him the respect he commanded. But loyalty is costly, because while Robyn advocates for Kody, viewers perceive her to be enabling him, protecting him, nourishing the favoritism that ruptured the family. To Robyn, the bad side is everybody else's unwillingness to become one. To Christine, Janelle, and Meri, the bad side is the favoritism Robyn receives. And that dichotomy, that chasm, is what makes the family's downfall so inevitable. 4 women, 4 points of view. Each wife has her own tale. Christine suffered invisibility. Janelle suffered witnessing her children suffer. Meri suffered loneliness and abandonment. Robyn has the duty to stand up for the man the rest of them no longer trust. But all of these viewpoints validate one thing. Kody's bad side isn't merely an admission. It's the thread that carries through each shattered relationship, each tear, each fought-through argument on television. Christine walked away. Janelle finally cracked. Meri was left behind. Robyn holds on to what's left. And throughout it all, one thing has become certain. The bad side of Kody Brown isn't only real. It's the reason this family will never be whole again. How the kids felt the bad side of Kody. When Kody Brown confessed, "There's a bad side of me," the wives weren't the only ones fans considered. They considered the kids. Because if anybody has borne the brunt of Kody's darker half, it's the 18 kids who were raised under his rule. And though the wives have talked in confessionals and interviews, the kids have shared the most heartbreaking truths. Their voices lay bare the deepest wounds, evidence that Kody's bad side was not simply marital war. It was about fatherhood lost, forgotten by his father. Perhaps the saddest moment in Sister Wives history was spoken by Gabriel, Janelle's son. It was during the COVID years, when Kody enforced rigid rules that essentially excluded him from nearly all of his children. Gabriel attempted to comply, but soon enough the rules came into conflict with reality. The remoteness became unbearable. And when Gabriel spoke to his father, the truth came out in raw emotion. In tears, Gabriel broke that Kody had forgotten his birthday. His father, the very man he admired, did not even call. That scene broke fans, because it wasn't just a date. It was about what the date represented. A child discovering that he no longer made a difference to his father. And when Kody dismissed it, doubling down on his rules rather than reassuring his son, the internet blew up. Gabriel's tale became the face of Kody's worst side, a dad so driven by control and anger that he forgot to show up for his kid. A son who fought back. If Gabriel exhibited the hurt of being forgotten, exhibited the wrath of being abandoned. Janelle's older son openly conflicted with Kody. He would not obediently follow his father's authoritarian COVID rules. He perceived favoritism and felt resentful about it. And when Kody attempted to exert control, pushed back in anger, fans observed as patience ran hot, rendering him estranged from his father. His words and his actions were what many children would experience if their parent values control over love. If you can't see me, then I won't see you. To most viewers represented the breaking point, the son who didn't remain quietly tolerant of the bad side of his dad and opted for independence instead. Surgery alone. Christine's daughter Isabel was in a medical emergency when she underwent major back surgery for scoliosis. It was one of the show's most critical moments, not due to her courage, but due to Kody's absence. When Isabel traveled all the way across the country to have surgery, Kody did not accompany her. He claimed COVID risks made it unsafe. Fans were angry. How is it possible for a father to miss his child's surgery, a life-altering, vulnerable moment, and still spend time with Robyn's family? Christine later confirmed that Isabel was heartbroken. She needed her dad and he wasn't available. For many viewers, this was the most obvious example of Kody's bad side. Not yelling, not control, but lack of presence. Picking one family over the other and denying his child to suffer in his absence. The silent children. Some of the children have been vocal, but others have been silent, but their voice is loud enough. Most of the older children are not seen on the show anymore. Some are totally estranged. Others make a brief appearance, but the warmth between them and their dad is gone. Leon, Meri's only child, has built a life far removed from Kody's orbit. Logan, once seen as a leader among the siblings, lives quietly away from the drama. Mykelti, despite her close ties to Robyn, has also hinted at frustrations. The absence of so many children from family scenes is itself a testimony. They don't need to say the words. Their estrangement speaks for itself. Kody's bad side lost them their dad. The pattern of pain. Christine has long stated that her kids felt not important to Kody. Janelle confessed that her children no longer really had a relationship with their father. These aren't disparate remarks. They form part of a pattern, one that Christine's exit and Kody's admission have now ratified. The children sensed the favoritism. They witnessed Robyn's kids getting more time, more affection, more protection. And they sensed the absence where their father's love should have been. Why the kids' voices matter. Most Kody's admission of having a bad side is significant because it confirms what his children have been complaining about for years. His temper, his favoritism, his absence. These are not just shortcomings. They're wounds that scarred a whole generation of Browns. The wives could leave. The wives could rebuild. But the kids? They bear those scars forever. And that's why people took Kody so seriously. Because when he said, "There's a bad side of me," it wasn't just about Christine or Janelle or Meri. It was about the kids who already knew that bad side all too well. These are not children on a television show. These are sons and daughters who were raised in an environment where their father's dark side took more than it gave. And for a lot of them, the harm is already done. What Kody didn't say when Kody Brown confessed, "There's a bad side of me," it wasn't what he said that unnerved fans, but what he didn't say. Because in Sister Wives' reality television universe, the omissions, the hesitations, and the carefully selected words often say more than the rehearsed admissions. And for longtime viewers, Kody's ambiguous confession rang more like the beginning of an iceberg rather than a whole truth. The half-truth problem. Let's be clear, Kody's comment wasn't an apology. He did not say, "I hurt my wives." He did not say, "I failed my kids." He did not admit favoritism or neglect. He just mentioned there was a bad side to him and left it hanging. That ambiguity is the issue. By not saying what his bad side actually is, Kody left fans to guess, and the blanks are incriminating. Is the bad side his tempering, the yelling, the accusations, the finger-pointing? Is it his control, the tests of loyalty, the rules, The obedience demand? Is it the favoritism? The way he showered love on Robyn's home at the expense of Christine's and Janelle's? Or something deeper? Inability to accept blame, refusal to see himself as the issue? Not specifying it opened doors to speculation. And that speculation is the reason that his confession is being re-aired and dissected on every Sister Wives fan blog on the web. The timing of the confession. Another thing fans can't help but notice is when Kody issued the claim. This wasn't when the series was younger and the family was still whole, when plural marriage had seemed within reach. No, he admitted now, when the family lay in shambles. Christine gone. Janelle divorced. Meri spurned aside. The children openly estranged. That timing makes the confession sound more damage control than truth. Almost as if Kody is saying, yes, I've got a bad side. But only because of what they did to me. It's more justification than reflection. And that's why the fans aren't so sure. Because if he was truly taking responsibility for it, wouldn't he have done it years ago, when Christine was pleading for love, when Meri was begging for attention, when Janelle was standing up for her children? The hidden message to the wives. Some believe Kody's reaction wasn't so much to the viewers at all, but to his wives. Almost like a threat. You know I have a bad side. And you've seen it. Think about it. Christine once admitted she was scared of how Kody was treating her children. Janelle said she didn't know him anymore. Meri waited years in icy silence. All of them have referred to the less pleasant sides of his personality. So when Kody spoke those words, was it an accident of truth or a coded put-down, reminding them of his ongoing perceived control? What Christine, Janelle, and the kids didn't say. It's not that Kody didn't say anything. It's that no one else said anything. Christine, in interviews after divorce, has floated suggestions but never gotten detailed about the very worst that Kody has done. She talks of being unloved, of Kody disappointing their children, of the favoritism. But people feel she's bottling it all up. So is Janelle. She has admitted to being badly hurt, but often carefully phrasing her words. And the kids? Gabriel and Isabel flashed their hurt, but most of the kids stayed quiet, at least on TV. Their silence is oppressive, as if darker stories remain untold. Kody's confession, then, is all the more chilling. Because if this is what he reveals, one shudders to think what every other individual might have to say if they were not holding back secrets. Fans' darker theories on Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube, fans have filled in the blanks Kody left so glaringly available. Some of the most popular theories include the bad side. Favoritism fans believe Kody is indirectly admitting that his favoritism toward Robyn was destructive, even though he'll never say it outright. The bad side, rage. Many argue it's about his explosive temper, the side of him we've seen shouting at wives and children when challenged. The bad side, pure control obsession from others, it's his controlling personality, demanding subservience and obedience rather than love. The bad side. Style gaslighting. Most people believe his bad side is his control, turning all his arguments into betrayal, playing the victim and manipulating history. Whether or not which of those theories is accurate, they all take us to the same place. The bad side isn't small. It's the core of the man Kody has become. Why silence is louder than words. The scariest part of Kody's confession is what it implies. That the worst of what he did are still unseen, still unuttered, still locked behind closed doors. If all those on-camera scenes, the shouting, the special treatment, the tears, are just the tip of the iceberg, then whatever bad side Kody did bring up might be worse than fans realize. And that's what gets them watching. Because when somebody tells us that they've got a bad side, it's human nature to begin wondering just how bad it really is. Kody Brown told us there's a bad side of him. But he didn't tell us what it was. He didn't say what it was. He didn't admit it. And that silence might be the most telling part of all. Because if what we've seen on camera is only the surface, then the truth hiding underneath could be worse. The fan reactions and viral theories. When Kody Brown muttered the words, "There's a bad side of me," fans didn't just hear it, they amplified it. Within hours, the moment was clipped, shared, and dissected across Twitter, Reddit, Facebook groups, TikTok edits, and YouTube reaction channels. And in true Sister Wives fashion, the internet turned one sentence into a firestorm of theories, debates, and outrage. Twitter X, the hashtag explosion. The phrase bad side quickly became a trending topic among Sister Wives watchers. Tweets flew out at lightning speed, each one sharper than the last. Kody finally admits what we've been saying for years. The bad side is all we've ever seen. There's a bad side of me, bro, we know. It's called Season 10 through now. Picture your dad giving you this on national television while ignoring your birthday. Gabriel did not need to hear it, we did. Fans used hashtags like Cheer Sister Wives Shocker, Sure Bad Side of Kody, and Brown Family Collapse to direct their anger into a viral storm. And the algorithm did its thing, it spread the clips to the millions. The deep dive dissection on Reddit, the teardown went into overdrive. Threads were dedicated entirely to taking apart Kody's confession, with commenters posting timelines of his most dramatic moments and mapping them against his so-called bad side. One highly upvoted response included, "This wasn't a confession. It was a threat. Kody basically told us, if you mess with me, you'll see the worst of me. That's not responsibility, that's threat." Another Redditor broke it down with brutal reality. The nasty side of Kody isn't something new. It's favoritism, gaslighting, abandonment, and anger. The scary thing is that he's only now finally acknowledging it, which means he realizes that we all see it too. Others speculated TLC edited out even more nasty comments, tending towards a theory that the bad side is worse than fans have ever been allowed to see. Viral reactions, fan editors, and reaction channels lost their minds. In a matter of days, there were scores of YouTube breakdowns such as, Kody Brown's dark side finally revealed. Christine was right about him all along. This is the real reason the kids turned away from Kody. TikTok edits overlaid. Kody's confession on top of pictures of him yelling, Christine in tears, Janelle storming off, and Gabriel crying, creating mini tragedies to a dark soundtrack. Each of those received hundreds of thousands of views. The viral content not only sustained the conversation, it escalated it, turning Kody's one-liner into a cultural water cooler moment far beyond the TLC fanbase. The viral theories fans can't get over amidst all the noise. Some of the most popular theories surfaced, each a unique interpretation of what Kody really said. The temper theory. The bad side is simply his unrestrained temper, the screaming, the accusations, the abrupt ultimatums that have become his signature, fans retort. The favoritism theory. Some fans believe it was a sideways confession about Robyn, that the bad side is not being able to favor all his wives and children equally, one home above all the others. The gaslighting theory. Some believe his dark side is manipulation, the way he flips everything, comes across as the victim, and gets everyone else questioning their own reality. The it's worse than we know theory. A darker theory suggests that Kody was also warning us viewers that what we've seen on camera isn't even worst. That behind closed doors, his bad side has caused damage we'll never fully know. The divide among fans. Interestingly, not all fans agreed. A small minority defended Kody, claiming his words were a moment of vulnerability, not arrogance. Some even argued he was showing rare self-awareness. But the overwhelming majority weren't buying it. To them, this wasn't growth. It was confirmation. Proof that Christine, Janelle, Meri, and the kids were right all along. The scandal merely made the moment go viral. Every comment thread became a war zone, defenders and trolls, sympathy and outrage. And for YouTubers like you, that scandal is gold. Every comment, every angry post, every fan speculation drives engagement and pushes the algorithm. Why fans won't let this go? The reason this single line hurt so much is plain. It was a mask slipping. The fans had been pissing and moaning on Kody about arrogance, favoritism, neglect for years. And he would always complain. But in that single sentence, there's a bad side of me. He confirmed all of it they'd been yelling all those years. And once the mask slips, you can't put it back on. All subsequent scenes, all previous cutaways, will now be seen in this perspective, the dark side of Kody Brown. The viewers aren't reacting to what Kody said. They're reacting to what he unknowingly revealed. That his dark side is real, that it has been real all along, and that it could be the reason the Brown family will never again be intact. Fall of the Brown Legacy. When Sister Wives first premiered in 2010, the message was clear. The Brown family was going to redefine what lawmakers and society at large have long assumed about plural marriage. Kody Brown and his 4 wives wanted to show the world that their unorthodox lifestyle was not only survivable, but it was loving, faithful, and harmonious. They were not embarrassed. They were not hiding anything. They were proud. TLC marketed them as pioneers of a new discourse, proof that plural marriage could thrive in modern America. Today, over a decade later, that dream lies in ruins. Christine has left. Janelle is estranged. Meri has dissociated emotionally. The kids are damaged and estranged. And central to them is Kody, admitting, "There's a bad side of me." The admission isn't his alone. It's for the collapse of the entire Brown legacy. From inspiration to implosion. When fans look back at the earliest seasons, they see wide-eyed idealism. The family positioned themselves as a team, juggling envy, triumphing over battles, but united for a higher purpose. They laughed together. They built houses side by side. They promised that love was multiplied, not divided. But with the seasons that went by, cracks appeared. Jealousy, partiality, and resentment replaced closeness. And now that Kody confessed, the dream has utterly imploded. The Browns are no longer symbols of togetherness. They are symbols of collapse. They are no longer trailblazers for plural marriage. They are a warning. The patriarch's legacy in jeopardy. For Kody, this collapse slices deeper than divorce papers and estranged kids. It slices at his legacy. He longed to be a leader, the patriarch who kept everything together. But his confession to having a bad side recasts his leadership as something damaging, instead of inspiring. Instead of being remembered as the man who normalized plural marriage, he risks being remembered as the man who drove his family apart. The patriarch who demanded loyalty but lost love. The father of 18 children who now struggles to connect with most of them. Christine's courage to leave, Janelle's choice to step back, Meri's loneliness, and the children's heartbreak, all of it will outlive Kody's narrative. And his own line, "There's a bad side of me," might be the summation quote of his legacy. The dream that couldn't survive. The subtext of Sister Wives was that love had no boundary. That one man could divide his time, his energy, his love between 4 wives and scores of children and not have anything left over. But the confession reveals the truth all along. Love doesn't build when one possesses it. Love disintegrates. Kody's bad side was the proof that the dream wasn't possible. His inability to give love equally, his compulsion to dominate, and his reliance on partiality showed the world that the Brown family was not living. It was falling apart. And on this point, his confession was public. It was symbolic, a confirmation that the sister wives fantasy did not pan out. Generational impact. The dysfunction does not end with Kody and the wives. The children take up the baton. What are they going to tell their children about growing up in a polygamous household? Are they going to inform them it was love many times or love denied? Are they going to inform them that their father was a protector or a stranger? Gabriel's tears, defiance, Isabel's heartache. These are the memories that will be employed by the next generation to remember the Brown family. Not as fantasy, but as warning. And maybe the actual breakdown is a family experiment that not only disintegrates in the here and now, but also breaks its own tomorrow. The show's survival. Even the television program itself is on the edge. Without love, without harmony, without a functioning plural marriage, what is there to say? Viewers are already asking, can sister wives survive when the sisterhood has completely disintegrated? Christine is gone. Janelle is single. Meri is absent. Robyn is alone with Kody. What is left isn't a story of plural love, it's a story of disintegration. And that seals Kody's confession as the final nail in the franchise coffin. The legacy in ashes when Kody Brown testified, "There's a bad side of me." He wasn't referring to himself only. He was referring to the destruction of everything the Browns had ever believed in. A marriage dream turned sour. A patriarchal image shattered. A family legacy in shambles. What started out as an inspirational experiment has devolved into a reality TV catastrophe. And Kody's confession will forever brand the moment the fantasy officially died. Kody wanted to be known as the man who made plural marriage work. But now, he may be remembered as the man whose own words, "There's a bad side of me," were the obituary for the Brown family's fantasy. Kody at the point of no return. Every story has that moment when there is no going back. For Kody Brown, it wasn't during a fight, wasn't during a breakup, wasn't even during his children's crying, but in his own words, "There's a bad side of me." Because within those 6 words, Kody didn't merely reveal a fact. He sealed his fate. He admitted that all those years, everything the fans, wives, and kids were gossiping about was true. And once spoken, words can no longer be taken back. The father who lost his children. For many years, Kody's identity was tied up with being the proud father of 18. He flaunted it as a badge of pride, evidence of his patriarchal strength. But what does the badge represent today? Gabriel sobbed on television in front of everyone because his dad did not remember his birthday. Anger turned to estrangement. Isabel had surgery with her father not there. Several of the older children drifted off, not even attending family gatherings anymore. The minute Kody spoke about having a bad side, he legitimized the sentiment that his children already held, that the father they needed had been hijacked by a man consumed by pride, wrath, and domination. A father can lose a wife and regain. But when a father loses children, the connection is generally lost for good. That's the true point of no return. The husband who lost 3 wives. Christine left first, and in doing so, exposed the cracks in Kody's leadership. She didn't leave, she told the truth, vindicating the favoritism and neglect which viewers had long suspected. Janelle followed, worn down by Kody's nasty behavior towards her children. She wasn't searching for romance, she was searching for respect. When she could not find it, she settled on autonomy. Meri lasted the longest, but her silence told it all. Years of cold and rejection had finally led her to admit something that everyone outside had realized from the start. Her marriage to Kody had ended. 3 wives lost, 1 gone. And she, Robyn, is both his rock and his curse. For while she defends him, she is also a reminder of the favoritism that tore the entire family apart. When Kody admitted his bad side, it seemed he was confessing to the cause the wives vanished. He didn't just lose them. His dark side pushed them away. The patriarch without a kingdom, Kody, once stood as the patriarch of a vast family empire. Now, however, the empire crumbles. The family gatherings that once sat full on couches and kitchens are empty. The laughter of dozens of children has been replaced with silence. The image of a unified household has been reduced to fragments, separate lives, separate homes, separate futures. A patriarch without a family isn't a patriarch at all. And Kody's admission feels like the final acknowledgement of that truth. The mask finally slipped. For over a decade, Kody fought to control the narrative. He blamed Christine for betrayal. He accused Janelle of being unfaithful. He erased Meri with cold contempt. He stood there as the martyred patriarch, victimized by resentful wives and rebellious children. But as he tacked on, "There's a bad side of me," the facade crumbled. For one moment, Kody admitted what everybody else had already seen. And once the mask has fallen, it cannot be put back in place. The audience will not forget. The wives will not forget. The children won't forget. His own words will be echoing in their minds every time his battles, his tantrums, his favoritism are relived by the fans. They will find them not as faulty impressions, but as glimpses into the bad side Kody himself confessed. The point of no return. And this is where the punch cuts deepest. Kody can't unsay. He can't rewind the clock to a period when his children idealized him. He can't wipe away Gabriel's tears, Isabel's sorrow. He can't reclaim Christine, Janelle, Meri. He can't restore the sister wives' dream as one family. Those are closed doors. Forever. What is left for him is a man who stands in the ruins of the kingdom he built. 1 wife left, children scattered, fans estranged. And hanging over it all, his own confession in the darkness. There's a bad side of me. The resolution is not just the collapse of the existing. It's the uncertainty of the to-be. Will Robyn keep defending him, or will even she eventually be burdened by his bad side? Will the children forgive him ever again? Or will estrangement forever hold sway? Will the show itself continue on, or will TLC once and for all let the story fade into the background? One thing is certain, Kody's bad side confession has irrevocably rewritten history. Sister Wives is no longer love times 4 in the narrative. It's the story of a patriarch's downfall, a family dream devoured by its own shadows. This is the moment. The moment where everything changes. The moment that the patriarch falls, the family is destroyed, and the dream is lost. This is the point of no return. And Kody Brown himself told us why. Because there's a nasty side of him. And it was the side that destroyed everything. We've traced Kody's shocking confession, "There's a bad side of me," from his own words, to the wives who lived with it, to the children who felt it, to the fans who dissected it. And now we're left with one undeniable truth. The Brown family dream has collapsed, and the shadow of Kody's bad side hangs over everything. But the story doesn't end here. In fact, this is just the beginning. Because Kody's confession raises more questions than it answers. Can Robyn handle the weight of being the only wife left standing? Will Janelle's children ever forgive their father? Has Christine's new life finally freed her from the shadow of Kody's darker half? And what about Meri? Will she ever get the closure she deserves after all these years of silence and abandonment? And the big question, has Kody reached the end of his legacy, or is more destruction ahead? Spark the comment war? Your turn. I want to know from you. Do you think Kody's bad side is just his temper or something far worse? Was his confession truth? Or deception? Can the Brown family recover from this meltdown? Or is the sister wives' utopia lost forever? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. This channel isn't just about me recapping the story, it's about all of us piecing it together. Your comment could spark the next conversation, stoke the next rumor, and even make it into the next video. The power of the like button. If Kody's confession rattled you like it rattled me, hit the like button. It may seem trivial, but every like sends a message to YouTube this story matters. Every like sends a message that viewers are hungry for the truth, not the manipulated, watered-down one TLC tries to serve up, but the bare truth we analyze right here. Every time you hit like, you're not just approving the video, you're speaking the truth. Subscribe to the unfiltered truth, and if you don't subscribe yet, press that subscribe button and tap that notification bell. Because trust me, it won't be the last bombshell. Christine's bombshell shook the family. Kody's confession shattered his image. But there is more. More children will be revealed. More cracks will appear in the illusion. More secrets will spill out, the kind TLC doesn't want you to know. This is where we spill it all. No whitewash, no cover. Just the facts piece by piece as the Brown family drama unfolds. Tease the next bombshell. And here's the cliffhanger. Rumors are coming out of more drama in the future. Fans are already speculating whether Robyn can really do it on her own with Kody. There are rumors of off-camera bombshell fight scenes, stories that may make even this bad side confession sound sanitized. That's what we're looking into next. And if you don't subscribe, you'll miss it. So subscribe now, turn on notifications, and join us for the next expose, because if this was shocking, just wait. The personal touch. Finally, thanks. If you're a Sister Wives devotee from Season 1, or if you just happened to watch this video today, you belong to a community that will not look away. The Brown family is imploding, but our community is more alive than ever. As a community, we're holding the story accountable, ferreting out the behind-the-scenes information, and not letting the worst of things stay in the dark. So thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for commenting, and thanks for subscribing. You guys are what keep this channel. Kody Brown wanted to show the world a dream, but what he showed instead was a confession. There's a bad side of me. And perhaps that's the true story of Sister Wives, not love multiplied, but love broken by the bad side of one man. The story isn't over. Stick with us because together we'll uncover what comes next.